Hi, my name's Ruan and this is my channel, The Yorkshire Sew Girl. Happy New Year, everybody. This is the first time I've actually recorded in 2025, which is really weird. I did have another vlog go out, but it was one that I'd recorded previously on Christmas Eve. So now this is my first actual one in 2025, which seems really kind of strange to talk about, if I'm honest. But I've been seeing quite a lot of people's make nines popping up and things like that, and what they want to achieve in 2025, and it kind of has got me thinking a little bit as well. Now, I'm not going to do the traditional make nine. I'm going to do kind of my own little make nine, I suppose. And yeah, I don't want it to be a very strict thing. It's going to be very fluid. I like that's my new word, fluid, which means you can just chop and change all you want and you don't get caught out for it. But yeah, I'm going to make it very fluid. But yeah, I've had a good think about kind of how I want to go forward with my sewing. I've been sewing for quite a long time now, and sometimes I feel like I'm just bumbling along. Does that make sense? So I thought it'd be really nice for me to just sit down, have a moment and think about what I want to kind of do in 2025, what my intentions are, what my goals are in my sewing arena personally. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk to you about 9 things that I would like to try and work, achieve, aim for in the year 2025. So let's get started. Number 1, and you'll probably think this is a little bit weird. I've got notes down here, by the way, because I've had a really good think about it. You might think this is a bit weird for me to kind of start off on, but the first thing is repairing garments. Garment repairing. I don't know if you're like me, but I am looking over here because it's all over here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 items of clothing that have got something slightly wrong with them. So it could be that like a facing's not sitting properly, I need an extra button, or a button's come off, something's not sitting right, the straps are too long, that kind of thing. And I tend to put them to one side and they just sit there forever. And I don't want to do that, because whilst ever they're sat there forever, they're not in my wardrobe and I'm not wearing them. So my plan is to hopefully make sure that once a month I am repairing a garment so that they don't sit there for forever and that I do get use of them. Please do tell me in the comment section down below if that is just me, or are you going to make me feel a lot better by telling me that you're in the same boat as me? Hopefully the latter. Okay, so number 2 is to learn something new, a new craft, up my skills, this type of thing. And it's a perfect opportunity for me to talk to you about Craftsy, who are the sponsor of today's video. Now, I would really like to learn something new. I don't want to be overwhelmed by necessarily starting something that's going to be a huge project. I want it to be something that's just really nice and comfortable for me to do. And I'm a very visual learner, as you know if you've been watching my channel for any time. So Craftsy is perfect for me because they have video tutorials of things. Now, if you don't know who Craftsy are, they are an online community and resource where millions of crafters, makers and DIY enthusiasts find creative inspiration, advance their skills and learn new ones along the way. So Craftsy offers more than 2,000 exciting classes in over 20 popular categories. So they have things like crochet, painting, knitting, photography, cake decorating, woodworking and many more. Classes are broken down into easy to follow lessons and are led by friendly, award-winning instructors who share their creative wisdom as they provide step-by-step demonstration. And again, like I said, that's the good thing for me because I am a very visual learner. And what I like about a lot of the Craftsy courses is they break them down into really manageable little chunks. So you don't feel overwhelmed when you're learning a new skill. If you remember rightly, in previous vlogs of mine, I've talked about my littlest wanting to learn how to crochet. And I don't crochet. I see people crochet and I admire them crocheting, but it's never something that has particularly appealed to me for me to start doing. I sew, I do cross stitch, things like that. But I need to be able to support my little one whilst he's learning to crochet as well. Now, I bought him a kit for Christmas, and it's kind of just a kit, and it's got instructions and everything in it, but just like in like a little booklet. So I was thinking what would be best is for me and him to learn side by side to crochet. Now, I want to do a particular course because the kit that he has got is the small animals, and I think it's called amigurumi. Amigurumi? I'm not quite sure. You'll tell me down below, no doubt. And he's got a kit that's got a bee in it. So this course, which I want to learn, is called Amigurumi for Beginners by Paula Cazorla. Beautiful name. And I thought that would be really handy for us both to kind of do together, because in that it's broken down into sections and you make 3 different animals. And I thought that might be a good way of doing it, for us to just buy some wool, a crochet hook, and just get cracking, because it talks you through all of the basic steps all the way through to actually making an animal up. So that's what hopefully I'm going to be attempting next. And I'd really love to get a few new things into my portfolio from a crafting point of view this year without the overwhelm. So that's where I'm going to start, is with that course, and I'm going to do it with my little one. So what could be more perfect than that? Now, if you are interested in Craftsy, I will pop all the information below. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description will get a full year's premium membership of Craftsy for only $1.49, which I think is amazing. And there's so much on there for you to choose. There's no way you could go on there and not have half a dozen classes already ready for you to actually start taking on board. So yeah, I'll pop all the information in the description box below, and thank you so much Craftsy for sponsoring this video. So number 3 is about intentional purchasing and also intentional planning of makes. Now, I have a significant stash here. If you've been following me for any time, you will know that I have been doing some destashes. I've got one more to do. They're already here to do, which we'll be doing soon, hopefully. And I want to be able to purchase fabric intentionally. I have a tendency to see pattern, colour, beautifulness and just hit the button and do impulse purchasing, and that is what I'm going to try and control for this year. I've been doing it quite well over the last few months. I only made 1 purchase for Black Friday, and I have made 0 purchases in the January/Boxing Day sales. And the reason for that is because I have plenty here and I can use what I've got. Say that again 10 times to yourself, Ruan. But what I would really, really like is to plan garments that I want to make and then go and find the fabric that I want to make them with. I am very much driven by my fabric that I've already got as to what I'm going to make. And I want to change that, because I find that that then is not intentional at all. Now, I fluctuate because I want to support the independent sewing businesses in our community, because it's a tough old world out there, and we want to make sure that we've got this community of different independent sellers. But then on the other side, I want to try and curb my spending. We've got a big holiday hopefully coming up that we're saving for, and I also want to make sure that what I do is intentional rather than going crazy in a sale just for the sake of it being in a sale. And I am definitely guilty of that. So for example, in the January sales, at one point I found myself literally going on to all of the stores and trying to find something just because it was cheap. And that's what I don't want to do. In fact, I would much prefer to purchase less fabric and it be more potentially quality, more expensive fabric that I know I'm absolutely going to love and cherish and wear till it falls apart when I make up a garment in it. I hope that makes sense. I think that will probably resonate with quite a few of you. But that is number 3. Now, number 4 relates a little bit actually to number 3. And number 4 is to manage my stash. So I've been doing a lot of work over the last year on managing this, clearing out an awful lot of old fabrics that I bought a number of years ago that have just not appealed to me, or they're fabric bases that I'm not that keen on, where I've been experimenting with them. And I've had a very big clear out of old fabrics and fabrics that I'm not that sure about, and hopefully they've been winging their way to loads of other people that will make use out of them, because I don't want them to sit there for too long. So what my aim will be, and again this is very fluid, is I want to be able to use 2 fabrics from my stash every single month. So I'd love to be able to make something up with what I've got here in my stash, and that should hopefully give me a balance of being able to purchase intentionally for certain garments that I want to make, whilst also getting through some of my stash. I have a very big ambition in the next couple of years to reduce my stash by another 50%. So I have pretty much, when I looked at the statistics, I think it was over 40% of my stash I have sold or I'm about to sell, because I've got a few more here. And I would really like to reduce that again by another 50%. And I don't mean by destashing necessarily. There will be elements of that, but I mean by making the fabrics up. I have a tendency to buy beautiful fabrics and then they sit there and they sit there and they sit there and they're not used. I'm going to try and change my mindset this year to get it made up. You can always buy new fabric if something goes wrong, or if your weight fluctuates, that kind of thing. I want to try and use up some of my stash so that within the next year or two, I only have 50% volume of the stash that I've got, which will make intentional purchasing a lot easier. Number 5 is about prioritizing basics. Now, I'm very guilty of wanting to make all the pretty dresses, all the special occasion wear, things like that, because that's what excites me. I can't help it, it really does. When I think about special garments, I think of beautiful, bright, bold prints, flowy, lots of fabric, that type of thing. And I absolutely adore making things like that. But I need to be really realistic about how many times I'm going to get to wear those garments. So I really want to prioritise basics. I tend to steer away from things like making my own pyjamas, making my own underwear, things like that, because they're not seen as such. I mean, obviously you don't want to be seen me wearing a pair of my knickknacks, but what I tend to do then is I steer away from it, because I think I just want to do all the big bold stuff that's, you know, extravagant, etc. And I really want to not do that this year. I want to sit back. I would really like to make some of my own underwear, and I don't mean special, beautiful, lacy underwear. I mean, you know, the good old bog standard, comfortable bum covering knickers, that type of thing. And I'd love to make some nice new summer pajamas. So yeah, rather than making all the beautiful special occasion wear that I'm not going to wear very often, I would really like to determine some gaps in my wardrobe from a basics point of view and start concentrating on those. I'm not saying I won't ever make special occasion things, and obviously I make quite a few dresses because I wear dresses to work a lot, but I'm talking you really fancy things that you're only going to maybe wear once or twice every now and again. I have last year made sure that I've worn some of my special occasion dresses several times rather than sit in the wardrobe. So if I've been going to a different event and it's different people that haven't seen me before, I have been wearing my dress. I've ended up wearing my Deer and Doe Cirque dress, I think 3 times at least, maybe 4. So I've worn it to a wedding, I've worn it to 2 do's, etc., because I want to try and get the wear out of it. So yeah, I want to try and prioritise some of the basics, even though you guys might not see them all. Number 6 is experimenting with style. Now, I don't feel like I've got a particular style. I love colour, I love bright pattern, boldness, etc. But I don't have a particular style, I don't think. Anyway, you may disagree with me, but I tend to steer away from a lot of certain styles because I think, oh no, I can't get away with that. Oh, I don't know if that's me. And then what I end up doing is I park it, even though I love it, and never actually experiment enough to know whether it would suit me or not. The most recent thing where I've kind of pushed myself out of my comfort zone is I made the Kea Pinafore dress by Fibre Mood, which I would never have done before. But I did a lot of research on pinafore dresses, and I did a vlog on that as well, to look at patterns where actually it would suit my shape, because certain styles aren't going to suit my shape. That's absolutely fine. But I would like to experiment more and be a bit more open in my mind as to what kind of things I'd like to make. So I'm going to try not to have that thing, that little voice in my head that says, oh no, you couldn't get away with that. Oh no, that's not you. I'm going to try and have a really open mind, and I would really like to experiment with some different styles this year just to see if they do suit me. And I'm hoping that I then might fall in love with a few different things to what I'm actually making at the moment. So fingers crossed for that one. Number 7 is all about prioritising practicality. I'm going to make myself laugh with this one. But I have a very big tendency to make garments that are very patterned, very bright, and then I really struggle to put outfits together. So when I say prioritise practicality, that's what I'm talking about. So rather than thinking of just one garment, I need to think in outfit, a full outfit. So an example is I have got 2 animal print coats. Absolutely love them. I do wear them all the time, but I struggle sometimes with wearing them with certain things. So if I have, for example, a very patterned dress on and then I put my animal print green jacket over the top, it looks a little bit weird. So I want to change that up this year. I want to have a think about some solid colours. I don't like to call them plain colours, but I want to talk about solid colours. And I love colour. Colour brings me joy. And that's why I've always stayed off doing a lot of solid colours. But the more and more I'm thinking about it, the more and more I'm thinking, well, you can have solid colours and still be bright and bold. And then hopefully they would go with more. So for example, I don't know, instead of having a patterned coat, I could go for a bright cobalt blue coat. And the likelihood is that will go with a lot more than if I was to wear a patterned coat. I would like to make a very simple grey or black coat, that type of thing. And it's the same also, not necessarily in just outerwear, but other garments as well, if I want to put them together. So I need to start having a think about prioritising practicality and not just going for the beautiful, beautiful prints that, yes, look absolutely stunning, but I struggle to wear and they sit in my wardrobe for ages because I can't put them with anything else. So that is another thing I really want to try and improve for 2025. Number 8 is perfecting fit. Now, I have a tendency to really like an intricate make when I'm actually constructing a garment. But if it doesn't quite fit right or there's something not right with it, I have a tendency to be like, oh, just leave it, it'll be fine, it'll be absolutely fine. And which it will be, and it's only myself that's judging this, but I would really like to try and perfect fit a bit more and be a bit more patient with makes. I don't want to get to the end of a garment and be like, right, on to the next. If there's something not quite right about it, I want to spend the time learning how to rectify that. Now, previously, I've kind of seen that as a bit of a waste of time. I've been like, well, I can just get straight onto the next garment. But I don't want to do that this time. I'm happy to produce less garments and for them to be intentional, practical, and fitting really well, so that when I come to make them again, I know that they're going to be perfect. And that's going to definitely be a bit of a journey for me because, like I say, I've got a tendency to kind of just sweep it to the side and think, I'll just make something different instead, and that it's a waste of my time. It isn't. Yes, my time is very precious. Obviously, I work full time. I've got a young family, but I don't want to just churn out garments that I'm not 100% happy with. I want to spend that time making sure that what I'm making is going to be worn a lot, fits me really nicely, and that I'm really proud of the time and effort that I've put into it, because I have a tendency not to do that. And last, but certainly not least, number 10 is about not over-committing. So I have a tendency to say yes to everything. I can't help it. If someone asks me to do something, I'm like, yeah, great, why not? And I don't like letting people down. I don't like missing deadlines. I really struggle with that. So what I tend to do is pump everything like that to the top of the priority list, and everything potentially that I want to do to the bottom of the priority list. And I really want to change that this year. I don't want to just say yes to everything for fear of upsetting anybody or them thinking, oh, no, you don't want to do that. Because I'm definitely a people pleaser. But I really want to think about how I progress through 2025 and making sure that I prioritise my journey, my sewing life. And if that means saying no to certain things, then that's what I'm going to have to do. I have started that already. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you will know that I co-host a very big sewing challenge in the community called Sew Frugal every year. And don't worry, I am still going to be doing that this year. So myself and the lovely Sam from Frugalissima are still going to be doing Sew Frugal this year. But it is such a significant amount of work. It's insane, actually. I totally underestimated how much work it would take. And I think because we started the challenge in lockdown, it garnered a lot of traction really, really quickly. So the amount of sponsors, gifts, you know, the amount of people that enter into the challenge is significant, which means the work obviously grows and grows and grows. So my heart lies with Sew Frugal because myself and Sam instigated it. I absolutely love the theme behind it. I love working with Sam as well because she's a Yorkshire lass that's just down the road from me. So this is going to stay. However, over the last few years, I've also been co-hosting a fantastic challenge called Sew April Blouse with the gorgeous Gabrielle at Cloth Edit. And Sew Frugal is in March and Sew April Blouse is in April. And I have to say, last year, I really, really struggled with it. I love doing Sew April Blouse. I love a blouse, you know I do. And I love seeing all of the amazing creations that come about in April. However, this last year, I felt like I wasn't doing the challenge enough justice because I just didn't have enough time and was a little bit burnt out, if I'm honest, from Sew Frugal to put 100% of my effort into the challenge. So I've contacted the lovely Gabrielle and explained that situation, and she said, look, I always knew it was quite a hard thing for you to do straight after Sew Frugal. Don't even worry about it. Thank you so much kind of for being involved, and I have absolutely loved it, and I will be a huge supporter of it, and I will take part in the challenge and I will talk about it on my channel. But I have said that this year I won't be co-hosting that challenge. That's not to say I won't co-host any other challenges. It's just after March, straight into another challenge in April was just too extreme for me. So I am prioritising my mental health and I am going to cut down on that one challenge to try and make things a little bit easier, because April really needs to be the month where I just relax and chill out after the craziness and amazingness of Sew Frugal. And I'm also going on holiday as well in April. So again, I don't want to spend my holiday having to concentrate on an Instagram challenge. So that's my first step in that. But yes, number 9, and it is a very important one for me this year, is about not overcommitting to things. So what do you think to my Make 9? I mean, it's not really a Make 9, is it? Because I'm not really making them. But I just thought it was a bit of a spin on it because I have done Make 9 in the past and I've literally made 3 out of the 9. And that's because my taste changed, my thoughts changed, new patterns come out. And by the time I get towards the end of the year, I'm not as interested in making what I thought I was going to at the beginning of the year. So I thought these are consistent things that I could be working on to try and improve my sewing practice as I go through the year 2025. So you'll have to let me know in the comment section down below what you think to my commitments to myself. Do you feel the same about me about certain things? Have you set anything? I know some people are like, not doing that, not putting that stress on myself. But yeah, do let me know, because I am interested to kind of see what other people's point of view is on this topic. Yeah, I know some people are like, it's a load of tough, whatever, you're not going to do any of it. But I really, really hope that I do, because I have been thinking about this for quite some time now, and I've already started implementing little bits. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you because I've been thinking about it a lot recently. I've been making notes on my phone and in notebooks, and I thought I'm going to bring it all together and have a chat with you guys about it. And I'm hoping that you're going to make me feel better in the comment section down below and telling me that you're the same as me. But anyway, I'm going to go now. Stop waffling. I hope you're all well. I hope you've had loads of time to sew. Happy New Year again, and I will see you again in my next video. Take care. Bye.